Who would win in a fight between Captain America and Donald Trump? In the red, blue, and white corner, we have Steve Rogers, man of action, super soldier, undeniable hero, and one of Earth 16's hunkiest grandpas. You already know the deal. Our boy was just a scrawny little army reject until the government hopped him up with that sweet, sweet soldier serum, turning good old Steve Rogers into Captain America. In the orange corner, he likes taking storms out of trailer parks, if you catch our drift. He'll probably grab your cat if he sees it. He's best friends with a guy named Vlad, and he's the United States of America's most beloved convicted felon. It's Donald Trump the Don. Now, let's rip the Band-Aid right off and just go and say it. Captain America would absolutely kick Donald Trump the Don's ass. After all, one is a walking, talking, inspirational beefcake, while the other is a frequent attendee of freak-offs. Still, you'd be surprised at how things might play out here. The question is, how would it happen? On one hand, Cap could just go postal on the orange-skinned cretin and throw hands at him. If that were the case, then it's a done deal that Donald Trump, the Don's face would look like a cup of extra-large OJ by the end of it. And we're not talking about his fellow freak-off buddy from the NFL either. But here's the thing. Donald Trump. The Don's got that kind of sick swag that would allow him to turn public opinion against Cap. Hell, Donald Trump DT's camp might even successfully make the herd believe Bernie put him up to it. It would also be super fun to think that Cap could hurl his trademark shield at Donald Trump the D, and hell, it might even literally knock some good sense in that scummy head of his. But then again, Donald Trump Donnie T could just make an absolutely asinine fuss about it in the media, claiming that Cap's shield is United States property and how Steve's possession of the thing is a breach of law. Geez Louise, Donald Trump dog might even go full wackadoo and say Steve Rogers is property of the United States of America, so going against the GOP's wishes is against the law. Well, that is to say, the law, according to Old Dirty's delusional, spray, net-addled mind. We don't know what's going on inside Donald Trump, the Don's head, but we're pretty sure it smells like stale nacho chips and falsified business records in there. This matchup gets even more interesting when you try and look at it from a more civil standpoint. Now, it's not entirely out of the question to think that Cap is the kind of dude who would be willing to turn his game down a notch to keep the playing field level. That is to say, he might not even choose to whip Donald Trump the Don's crack a new one, since that would be ungentlemanly. In this case, it's likely that Steve would most likely use one of his other superpowers against Donald Trump. The Don. The ability to give a rousing speech. At first glance, you'd think that the Star-Spangled Avenger could also win in this category. But you'd be wrong. Because here's the thing. Cap might rival Honest Abe when it comes to public speaking, but he can't in good conscience make the masses cheer with promises of building a wall south of the border or buying Greenland. That's where this big orange D has the edge. MF could seriously suggest injecting straight-up Lysol into your veins, and you'd end up ticking the man's name on the ballot. And when you look at it, Donald Trump. The Don doesn't even have to keep his promises to make his mullet-clad fans cream their jeans. So yeah, the Don might get one over Cap here. Now, it's also not entirely off the table if you think that Cap wouldn't even fight this fussy D. After all, Steve Rogers is an agent of the United States of America before anything else. So what he wants doesn't matter. He has to do what this orange sack of hate says, since Donald Trump, the Don, is the head of state. To that, we say go and read the original Civil War storyline if you want to see how this scenario would play out. That's because Cap might be well aware that he owes his existence to the government to some degree. But in no way is Mr. Rogers going to wear a red sweater just because Donald Trump, the Don, tells him to. Simply put, it's a matter of having a moral fiber when it comes to Captain America. The sad thing is, not everyone has that. Even sadder is the fact that some people willingly don't want to have that. So, let's sum it all up. You've got Captain America. He's for all intents and purposes the ideal American, a real man's man, if you will. And then you have Donnie T, a guy who once claimed that the Democratic Party wanted to legalize abortions post-birth. Post-birth. Let that sink in. If it doesn't, then you're probably a big fan of moonshine and joining your biological sister in holy matrimony. So, more power to you, sir. But perhaps the most conclusive way Donald Trump, the Don, could win a bout against the first Avenger is this. All old Donnie has to do is rip some paper. That's right. Because no matter how much you admire Steve Rogers' moral code, no matter how sure you are that a left jab from Captain America would make the Don reach for his emergency adult diapers, there's one thing that the Star-Spangled Avenger could never become: real. On the other hand, Donald Trump. The Don is as real as it gets, and it's so terrifying that Earth getting eaten by Galactus seems like child's play compared to the horrible prospects we can imagine when you let someone like this guy actually have some power. But hey, we're not complaining. All we'll say is, if you helped put the D in office, then you're getting everything that's coming to you. Is it good? Is it bad? We don't know, man. We just usually talk about spandex-wearing fictional characters beating the hell out of other spandex-wearing fictional characters on this channel. So, who's the real winner here? Oh, no doubt it's a guy named Vladimir. Because he knows everything about you now, man. And it's all thanks to the Don giving all your private information to him. Oh, Donald Trump Big D even threw in a few Pando vaccines in the deal there as well. Enjoy. Or should we say, Das Vidanya? What do you think, though? Who would win in a battle between Donald Trump and Captain America, these two? Sound off in the comments section below. And please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on all your notifications. We promise we're going to go back to our regular Super Fight video format next time. We'll see you soon, only here at KRTV Marvel.